Welcome to Front-End Pairing. Hopefully we're going to take a little look. I raised an MR recently to add support for filtering by issue created or closed dates on the issues list. Let me just have a look at this. Typical. It's too big. We can see it on here anyway. Yeah, so we can filter on the created is after or before, and the closed is after or before. So those filters weren't present before. The only challenge we've got is that the GL filtered search bar doesn't really have support for dates at the moment. So it's free text, and if you type an invalid date, you get an error back. So it's not the best user experience. And that's pretty much the feedback that I've got. So, about date formatting, if you enter an invalid date. So I'm going to have a bit of a look at this feedback and just see whether it's realistic for me to get a date picker in there, or some really, really simple, quick, easy, basic validation. I don't really want to solve the entire problem, if that makes sense, during this MR, because I would really like to get this additional functionality added, even if it's not completely polished. But we'll take a look and see if adding a date picker is going to be potentially a simple task or not. So I just did a GDK update.
The whole app is in Haml.
So funnily enough, the issues list is in Vue. The merge request list is in Haml at the moment. So this one, fortunately, is in Vue. So I'm going to do a rebase. Just going to publish. Yeah. Pipeline. Yeah, so this is before my change. You can't filter on the dates. Hopefully, if it reloads after my rebase, we'll have the additional date filters in there. There was one other little change as well, and this one I think I'm almost certain will be an easy one. So I might start with this. So we said at the moment we're using the clock icon for milestone, and I used it for the created and closed date filter as well. But there's a question there if we can use the history icon instead. So I hope that'll be quite a simple switcheroo. So remind myself what the changes were. So yeah, it looks like it's probably going to be in this view component. And I think we had another one. Annoyingly, let me just check. Issue token stop push. Yeah, the issues list within a group or project that shares the same view component. The issues list, like this main global dashboard issues list, is actually a different view component.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure why. I guess maybe the one at project level is a little bit, or group or project level is a bit simpler. Just stop and start again. Because it doesn't need to enumerate all of your groups and projects to find out what labels are available and what assignees are available, etc. It can just grab those from the group or project, whereas the dashboard issues list probably has a little bit more complexity in it. while GDK is restarting, we can already see that we've got the closed and created filters in there as well, but using the same icon as the milestone. While it's reloading, I will close, we'll change to history, and created will change to history.
Yeah.
So have you worked much with Hamel and or Vue?
I'm quite not well versed with Hamel, but I'm learning Vue. So I have some hands-on on Vue, but the Apollo GraphQL I'm still learning.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
That's one of the features that I think I like best about it, actually. The simplicity to grab data from GraphQL using Vue Apollo.
Right.
And I think we generally use what they call smart queries, but I'm not brilliant with the terminology. But it's remarkable how simple it is to kind of follow that standard pattern. Okay, yeah, looks like we've got those icons changed, but this just to show you, so we can say closed is after or before, but then we just have to type it in like this, which isn't ideal. And if we type it wrong, then it throws an error. So we could ideally do with improving that a little bit more. There was one more, I just remembered a little comment there. Could these be created date and closed date? So yeah, I think rather than, I've just said closed and created, but in this drop down here, we use closed date and created date. So it'd be a nice to have. So let's find out where we don't find those. So closed date and created date. Two nice easy changes to make. I'm sure the upper ones won't be won't be so straightforward.
But
Go,
it's good to know actually that how people approach to, I mean, small, those are small changes, but the way you are changing it, it looks like you're, I mean, you know the system well. I'm
yeah, it's I quite like doing these sessions. It helps to kind of explain kind of how your mind works essentially, and how to, yeah.
right.
So just
I
a
guess
sec.
pretty much after a few sessions, I might have one of my MR reviewed or paired with someone.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing. Quite often in these sessions, the person driving isn't necessarily the person, I don't know, I want to say kind of leading. So I think it was one of the most recent sessions, I implemented a new GitLab UI component into GitLab, and I was driving, so I was doing the coding, but I wasn't really as familiar or didn't really understand as well as the others on the session. So they were just kind of driving me and telling me where to go, and that works really well. Right, so close date, so that's worked nicely as well. So now to see whether or not we can get a date picker in. So what I wanted to do, so for all of these, so what does type do? Type is equal to, so this is a drop down for type. Probably a hard-coded list. Confidential is kind of a drop down as well. Or goes off, so it's a drop down, but that has to make a GraphQL query. So let's just have a look and see if we can figure out. I'm not sure if we will be able to, but this is the dashboard issues list. So I just want to see how some of those other ones work. So yeah, label. So it uses this label token, which is its own view component. And that has a GL filtered search suggestion. That might be a little bit over complex. Let's have a look at the type. Token. Instant test case task. Yes, that's this one. Options, default type, token options. Right, so I guess this GL filtered search token implements. Yeah, so that comes from GitLab UI. And GL just drop down. How easy it's going to be to build this date picker. So we've got label token. Which other ones have we got? So we've got user token, label token, milestone token. The difference with all of these is that they need to use GraphQL to go and get some data, and then they're going to render some kind of drop down. We just want to render a date picker, and we don't need to get any data. But I hope we can have a look at this and see how it works. And yeah, we might be able to just do something a bit more simple. So is this using Apollo? I don't know how it gets the data actually. This.config.initial labels. Where it's getting them from. So labels, initial labels. Don't know where that's coming from. But never mind. So template uses base token.
I guess those tokens are the, list in the drop down.
Yeah, so each of these things is considered a token. So so this bit would kind of be a token, and this would be a token, and
Okay.
label this would, so each of these I think is a token. And this defines each of the tokens. So it says you've got a reaction token and a type and a closed and a created.
Okay.
And then this bit here, I think, defines like what component is used to actually select the token. So is it a label drop down? Is it an author drop down? Is it just a yes no drop down, etc. So I'm hoping that I can create a copy of this label token, but maybe a bit simpler. I probably need to understand what this base token is. View token props, but it does look a bit complex. So we got a GL token and a suggestion list. So we don't need a suggestion list, which is good. So let's have a look at base token. So okay. So I don't think we need to use base token. So watch. I'm looking to see there's an emit there. An emit there. So when we select a value, set token value, okay, that's imported from there.
Filter search it. Right.
Okay, so that's just caching. Okay, I don't think that's majorly important. So the on listeners, we bind value. I guess that's the important thing. So let's try and make a copy. So we've got components, GlFilteredSearch file tokens. Yeah, perfect. So it's very optimistic, but I'd like to see what if we can make any progress in an hour, and if we can't, then no problem. So I don't think we need base token. So we definitely don't need that. Definitely don't need a method to fetch labels. Fetch basis labels. Label name, get it to labels. So we don't need any of that. You can just strip out as much as possible to get started. So I don't think I'm going to need any translations. Need to strip quotes. So what we are going to need is just have a look what GL token. We're going to need a GL date picker, that's for sure. But I don't know what GL token. Search token is a help component intended to simplify the creation of filters. Tokens, which consist of a title operator. Useful value with autocomplete. This component. I don't think we want to use this because we don't really want autocomplete.
Right.
So I'm going to say all we want from here is geo date picker.
Is there a trigger there to open this date picker?
I don't quite know at the moment. Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Right. Because I what I saw was the token were listed and it was just pushed to the array. But I don't see if we can custom that if there is a custom trigger that would just open our date picker. Was it,
Okay. So let me just have a look. What I'm a little bit unsure of is how this component, what does it actually, what does that suggest? I'm wondering if it emits or how it, look at source for this. How when you actually select a value, how that value gets passed back to the parent component. So watch. Right, so we emit this, I think.
I'm going to continue this value.
I think try that. So just get rid of our props as well. Whoops, didn't want to do it from there. Yeah, I don't think we need any props at the moment. Data. Oh, I hope it is as no way it will be, but so yeah, so let's do a AGL date picker. Max date, min date, start opened true. So we'll try setting that. Open true, and then try binding the.
Is there any example? I don't see any example where we have triggered a date picker from a search filter search.
No, I don't. What,
Hmm.
what if I oh, hey James.
Hey,
Good to
how's it
see
going?
you. Yeah, good. We're out of our depth, so you you might be just the man to help us out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna need to. Where are we? Label token. Have you done much with the filtered search at all, James?
No,
Good.
not at all.
Date, take. Then where is our expect it to explode straight away, but see what happens. So just catch you up. I created an MR a week or two ago to add the created date and close date as filters for the issues list. It was a bit, what should I call it? Let's say it's an MVC, so it's for free type, free text, which obviously isn't ideal. If you mistype a date, then it throws an error. You want a date picker ideally, but if we can't get a date picker in, some level of kind of validation and formatting might be nice. But I thought with an hour or so, it'd be worth just having a stab to see, okay, I've completely killed it. Good. To see, yeah, if it might be possible to wire a date picker in. But we're getting an error. Cannot read properties on Apollo data, date token.
So this is an MR that you made previously and you were stuck on.
Yeah, just
Now it's
like
stuck again.
basically needs a bit of UX polish, if that makes sense. And I wanted to kind of see what we could do as a minimum, like try not getting too carried away. Yeah. So why is it trying to what's it doing in Apollo land? So there's no Apollo stuff in here.
So this all already works on the back end, I guess.
Yeah, search works nicely on the back end. I don't know if I've changed something I shouldn't have. Yeah. Created. No, that's right. I don't know why it's trying to read follow data, date token.
Is there any mutation or something?
Yeah, I don't know, but this is slightly more helpful. So it's saying it can't find GL date picker. So that's because it should be one word. So it's probably unlikely, but in the off chance that it's something as simple as that, we'll see what that does. At the moment, James, like most of these tokens, I think we call them, they kind of render a drop down that uses GraphQL, I think, to populate the data. So I'm struggling to find a similar one to kind of base it on. Oh, okay, that's a good start. So the problem is, by using this, what we've lost that we had before was when you clicked on created, it said, do you want to do this before or is after? And it left these kind of, I don't know what you want to call them.
Tokens.
Yeah, these labels in place, whereas they're not present anymore. So, but I'm interested to see what happens if I do say like, so this issues list, if I say that it was created, search. Yeah, so it doesn't quite know how to handle that input at the moment. So that makes me wonder whether we do need to use this base token, because I think it's going to provide us with these labels and operators and a few other things. So if we go back to label token.
So we need to switch between those date pickers and tokens, right?
Yeah, so I think that, don't know if this is like a wrapper. So let's have a look. Well, a base token is not the same thing as GL token. Okay. So GL token. See what I can do. I can use View Dev Tools to have a look. So this is GL. Oh, so all three of these things are GL token, and that's GL filtered search token. So let me look at label. Interesting. That surprises me that that's right. So it's label token that uses base token, and base token renders the label and the operator. So I think we want base token after all. Just stripping everything out.
So base token is like a wrapper, or GL token. No.
That's the impression I'm getting. I mean, we can open it up and have a look. We've already got it open. So yeah, so it's got the GL loading. It's got a lot of stuff I feel like we don't particularly want or need. But if it provides a way for us to, let's have a look what the template looks like. I'm hoping it sort of provides us with the label, like kind of label, the operator, and then the actual a slot to put the kind of drop down in. So we've got slot for suggestions. We don't need that. We've got a slot for view token props. View token. Oh, sorry, we've got view
For the
token.
date token,
Go on,
why aren't we starting with a duplicate of one of the other tokens?
Sorry?
For the date token,
Yep.
why aren't we starting with the duplicate of one of the other tokens?
We are. I basically copied label token, but then I stripped pretty much everything out because we don't need like these or these or these or these. But I didn't think we wanted base token, but then now we're kind of looking at what base token is, and it looks like it kind of gives us the label, and so I think we do want it now. So I'm just bringing it back in essentially. So with base token, this is where it gets really hairy. So how do we pass in? This is a problem. It looks like this base token's doing a lot of stuff that we don't want. So suggestion list is, I'm just worried that base tokens made for these things that basically have a finite list of selectable values, like labels, assignees, milestones, and what we want, the date picker, isn't like that. So I just don't know whether this base token is going to work for what we want. Maybe we should be using GlFilteredSearch token, which is what I was suggesting a minute ago, which is this thing here. Yeah, sorry, I know we're going around the houses, but so undo.
So what is that one?
So I think I'm a little bit confused here between GlFilteredSearch token and GlToken. Oh no, that's filtered search suggestion. So it looks like base token is a wrapper around GlFilteredSearch token. So because we don't really want like the suggestions and we don't need this specific implementation, it might be better just to grab GlFilteredSearch token.
So base token includes like a template for suggestions list.
Yeah, exactly. Which we don't really want. So GlFilteredSearch.
Does it have an alternative?
Don't need that. GlFilteredSearch token. So let's have a quick look at this. So we don't need suggestions though. That's what I'm worried that this. Let me just reread this. Filtered search token is a helper intended to simplify the creation of filter tokens, which consist of a title, operators, and an editable value with autocomplete. This component. See, I don't know that this is going to work for us. It's token management logic and allows you to focus on implementing autocomplete. I think, yeah, I looked at the source. Yes, it's got a list of available tokens. I'm just worried that, so what have we got? We've got a segment, which is the title, awesome, that's fine. We've got a segment, which is the operator, awesome, that's fine. And then we've got
Option.
That's still part of the operator. Then we've got a segment, which is This is where it gets confusing. So that's suggestions. Yeah, it doesn't look like.
Plot for the suggestions is, I guess, how it is triggered. Is there any logic for that?
Well, has data or data segment is currently active.
Yeah. I guess that's where we trigger the date picker, right? And when we get in output from the date picker,
Yeah.
we have to render a token, I guess, over there, right? I mean that's what I can see. The whole picture, I guess.
Yeah,
It
maybe,
should
maybe.
work
So,
like.
so you think, so let me just, so we've got suggestions, view inputs, how the token is rendered. Okay, so this is rendering it. So slot names. So we could just pass the date picker into the suggestions slot, do you think? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so this is GlFilteredSearch token. So we think got that. So our slots were okay. Go back to base token and just see what we pass. Oh yeah, okay. What one big more complex than I want it to be. We still surely we must admit. I don't know how we're passing the value back when you select it, but maybe I'm jumping a bit too far ahead anyway. So this had view token, view, and suggestions. Yeah. I think that
Is that templating should work, more or less.
this is going to complain about. I don't know which of these. Like, can I just get rid of everything for the moment? Because it's going to complain if none of these methods exist. But equally, yeah, I can't see that working either. So have a look at. Oh, so this one only passing in suggestions. So okay, yes, we can do a title, value to value, and on listener. So let's just pass the title. Okay, well that's it's not great, but it hasn't completely exploded. So I hope if we
You can put small, I guess, spans, labels too, just to, if we can see.
well, I think if I just do
Right.
so let's just do title.
I'm just reading through the filtered search, like GitLab UI
Yep.
docs, and like I think maybe it'd be best if we add like a date to that, like give it the support, add the support.
So add it in here instead of
in GitLab UI.
that makes sense.
Because it's the one that's controlling it, and it's like, okay, it can do a bunch of different things, but it can't do dates.
Yeah, makes sense.
So then if we add a date picker in there,
yeah,
then we're working with the component at least.
Yeah, I think you're right. This.config. Right, so we can pass the operators in. Yeah. Just gonna send.
But then it's probably not a filtered search either. Because a filtered search is not the right name for. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Filtered search, it would mean like, here's a search that we're adding a filter on, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, then that's fine. Then
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So operators. How are we? Okay. What I had an operators. It's in config. Okay, awesome. So, okay, we just pass that in then, I guess. I think it's already going to have access to. It's almost up. And there's going to be some magic there where the operators come through in the config. Because we're already defining the operators in here. Oh, we've got the label.
Right.
So that's coming from the config. So that's a good start. So we don't need my silly title there. Yeah, obviously doesn't quite know how to render. I don't quite know where Apollo is trying to kick in, but not too fast at the moment. Although that's the only error that is coming out. So yeah, the operator. Let's use view dev tools again. A couple of minutes, then we'll call it a day. So GL. So the config being passed in. Yes, the config's got the icon and the operators, which should be before and after. Yeah. So they should be getting passed in. What then happens with those operators?
where are you setting the config in your code?
So I'm just kind of passing it. So it's a prop for the token, and then I'm passing it through to GlFilteredSearch token. And I think whatever's looping through this array and generating, like saying, oh, I need to use the date token component, is then passing these things in as options. If that makes sense. So it's kind of, go on.
This, so, like, you created both of these, token type created and closed.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's definitely progress. Don't know why it's struggling. So it's going to GlFilteredSearch token. That's still got the operators. So then there should be a computed in here called operators. Yeah, operator description.
Available tokens with self. That one.
Just unsure why these operators aren't. I don't know if it's because the operator description is empty, but when I select this, it should give me another option. So like when you say author, you get equals, not equals, or. With created date, it should say you should be able to pick from is after or is before. Not quite sure why it's not.
Is there something breaking before the render operators?
So you think it could be just whatever's going wrong here that's preventing it from
rendering the
possibly error in data. Can't read properties of undefined. Reading Apollo data. So let me just I wonder, is it something as stupid as this just needs to be removed, or it needs to return like an empty, because data probably has to return something. Could be that simple. Probably not, but so it's not erroring anymore, which is good, but that didn't help with our problem. So the should operator description. Operator is this, the operators define this. Okay, so that's only once you've selected, but it's not even giving us the opportunity to select an operator. So how should that? So the first segment, I think, was the title. Yeah, the title segment. So the second one is the operator segment. So I'm confused why this isn't giving us, it's not prompting us when we click in and say close date. It should then ask us to say is before or is after. And it's not doing that.
Looks like it's just menu now, but I'm not sure I'm helping here.
That's all right. I should probably call it a day anyway. We've made a little bit of progress, but I think you're right. Ultimately, James, we do want it in GitLab UI. I was just hoping like this was supposed to be a bit of a quick win, this MR. And I guess when I got the UX feedback, trying to implement a whole bunch of like error handling and date formatting and other bits and pieces seemed a bit like pointless and reinventing the wheel
Yeah.
if we could just adopt the date picker. So I'm kind of looking to see whether there's a happy medium, because I don't really want to stretch the scope of this MR to end up having to make a change to GitLab UI, and
Yeah.
but we'll see how it goes. But thank you for jumping on.
No worries.
And I will let you know if I make some more progress.
Okay, cool.
Just
Talk to
James,
you
catch you
later.
later. Bye.
Bye.